Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with something insanely cool. We've got ourselves another brand new How to Train Your Dragon release, but it's not just any How to Train Your Dragon release. This is actually a WOW Stuff release. Now, you may remember them as they have released numerous different Jurassic World and Jurassic Park releases, including 2 animatronic or Puppetronic puppets of a Velociraptor Blue and a juvenile or young T-Rex, however you want to term that. They did release those a little ways back, and they were very cool. Well, we now have pretty much the same sort of thing going on for How to Train Your Dragon, as they have extended into that franchise with the Toothless Puppetronic by RealFX. And this thing looks super cool. It looks like, obviously, a little baby Toothless, and look at those eyes. Those eyes are incredible. They just look so good. The box art is also really cool. You can see, again, we've got the title of everything going on right there. A little shot of the Toothless over here off to the side. Of course, a big open area showing off the dragon. And then How to Train Your Dragon up there at the top. We also can see that it states over 50 sounds and actions combined. So there is a whole lot that you can do with this, including a plasma blast effect with real smoke effect as well. So super cool, super impressive stuff. And then here on the side, you can see a little bit more information, as well as a shot down here of Toothless. And then if we go to the other side, pretty much the same sort of thing, different images, different info and everything. But here on the back, you can see, if I lean it back, the WOW Stuff logo up there. Also, again, some more images of the dragon and everything. This is also a first edition, which is actually pretty cool. And then just some info here, basically on the Puppetronic, as far as, you know, what it can do and how you operate it and everything like that moving along. And then again, Toothless Puppetronic by RealFX. And there's the How to Train Your Dragon logo right there. So we're going to go ahead, pop this thing out of the box, and we'll check out our baby Toothless. So one thing that is really quite cool instantly about the dragon is once you open it up, you can see you do get a certificate of authenticity stating that, again, it is a first edition, which is really cool. Again, you know, if you are a collector of How to Train Your Dragon stuff, I would recommend grabbing this as soon as you can, so you can get one of the first editions, just because it is pretty darn neat. You also get these little droppers here so that you can, you know, put the water in and create the smoke effect, but we'll get to that eventually. And then, of course, we've got ourselves our dragon itself, our Toothless, and it looks super cool. Now, the majority of the body, similar to what we've seen with the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World versions, is kind of almost like a plush, like a soft kind of stuffed animal type of feel. That's what we have going on. So more of just like an actual, like, softer material rather than like actual, you know, dragon skin or anything like that. So it does have a really nice, comfortable, soft kind of feel to the body overall. It also, though, does have kind of like a texturing to it and like a visual of almost like dragon scales, which is pretty neat. You can see that as you move through the figure. Again, you've got that look through the entire thing. You can see the nails, the cute little nails and everything as you move through the body. But you also, of course, have the tail of our Toothless, which does, in fact, feature this very cool red artificial side piece here for the tail of the dragon. And then, of course, you've got the wings and everything up here, which are also really quite fun. Also just kind of like a nice little material, but they are obviously movable and everything, which makes them, you know, playable as well. But then you have the head, and the head is the heaviest part for sure of the figure. It's also the part that controls, you know, everything that you would want to do with this figure. And it is a very hard kind of like a plastic, but it does have some really nice looking texturing to it. When you get nice and close, you can see all of the different scales throughout. You can see the nose of Toothless right there. Again, those incredible eyes. Look at the detail within the eyes of this absolutely gorgeous dragon right here. It looks so nice. And of course, they are glass eyes, so they do have a very realistic look as a whole. And then as you move through, again, you'll see larger scales pop up, and of course, finer scales as you move through the entire head sculpt of Toothless. You have those small kind of ridges moving over the top of the head as well. And then you'll see the same thing when you move the dragon over to this side. The mouth is currently in an open position. We can see a really nice pinkish tone for the inside of the mouth. We also have all of the teeth sculpted out, and they do have a bit of a satin shine to them, which is nice, but the entire inside of the mouth in general has a little bit of a satin look to it. We can also see the tongue in there, which is fun. Again, very nicely detailed for the inside of the mouth of Toothless. So obviously you've got 4 legs for the dragon, which we can see, and again, considering it is that kind of like plush kind of feel, you can move everything around very nicely, and it also looks really good overall. Like, it definitely meshes with the head quite nicely, I think, and without question gives this dragon a really fun feel. So that's basically the overall visual for the figure. Now, to operate it, you actually have to put your hand inside the back of the head. There's a little opening back here where you would slide your hand in, and that would give you, if I can get my hand in here, the opportunity to kind of articulate things like the mouth. As you can see, we can now articulate the mouth and everything of our Toothless. But there you go, you can see how my arm kind of goes into the back of the head of Toothless, and then once you're inside, you can then again operate the mouth and everything, and it looks really, really cool. Definitely has a fun, realistic, lifelike look. But on top of that, of course, there's a lot you can do with this as far as like the sounds and everything. And to turn it on, there's going to be a button in here on the top of the head, so you have to push this. And we can instantly hear the dragon coming to life. We'll hear some of the noises. So we can see we can mess with the eyelids of the dragon. Oh, we must have hit the plasma blast for our dragon. Pretty fun noises there, basically just moving the jaw. But there are some controls in here. If you actually come up and over the top, there are a few controls which I can't really show you because there's no way to really get in there, but that operate different things, again, like the eyelids and stuff. And then the plasma blast and everything, which we will do here in a moment. We'll have to throw some water in it and get a look at that. So I'm pretty much learning things as I go. So when you actually have them like this is just the normal Toothless mode. When you pull the... Actually, I turned it off, so I forgot. We should probably turn that back on. But when I pull the eyelids back, now Toothless is in protector mode. So it's a different mode from your standard mode. I don't know if we're going to have any other noises here. So you can hear the difference in the noises. I actually really quite like that. Once he's like this, Toothless sounds more docile, more relaxed and kind of chill. And then you pull the eyelids back. And obviously Toothless is a bit more aggressive than at that point. So we can basically see the plasma blast occurring, but I'm going to go ahead and get some water inside the figure and we'll check out the plasma blast in all of its glory from there. So in the back of the head, there's a little spot right here, which you can see. I probably should turn Toothless off now because Toothless keeps making noises, but you can see basically there's like a little switch or a little door here. You just push it over, and that's where you're going to go ahead and put the water for Toothless to try to get the plasma blast occurring. So we'll just go ahead and put that in there, and then we'll close the door so it's nice and safe and sound in there. Turn Toothless back on. So that's pretty cool. Once you pull it back and allow the plasma blast to occur, you just hold it back and then you'll see the smoke come out. And once you let it go, it stops. That's super, super cool. So I'm actually going to go ahead and dim the lights, and then we'll check it out in a little bit of a, darker setting. We'll try it once like this. And now we'll turn the lights off entirely. That is definitely really fun. Now we have Toothless back in like the standard mode, and I'm curious what happens if we try the Plasma Blast with Toothless in that mode. So it definitely still works. Kind of sounds like we have a few different noises though in that mode. As you can see, Toothless likes to be petted as well. I love how soft and sweet the noises are when you are actually petting the head of Toothless. That's really cute. So once we put Toothless back into protector mode and then we pet the head, you can definitely hear some different noises once Toothless is back into protector mode as well. So something else I realized that's very cool is if you have the mouth closed and you pull the button for the Plasma Blast, Toothless blows steam out of the nostrils. We'll go ahead and get a front shot of that. How incredibly cool is that? That is so awesome. So I've gone ahead and laid my dragon here out on the review station to try to, as I hit the camera, as I try to get a size. It is pretty big for a length. You were roughly looking at about, I should have turned Toothless off and I forgot to do it again, but I would say at about 18.5 inches or around 47 centimeters. That's fairly rough because, again, there's a lot going on here that, you know, changes basically where I'm going with the tape measure. But for a height with it laying down, I would say around 6.5 inches or 16.5 centimeters with its head flat on the table currently. For a size comparison to show you again the size of this dragon, though, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day human being next to our Toothless Puppetronic, and you can definitely see that again, it is quite sizable. If you turn it sideways here and knock Muldoon over, you can see again that the size of this dragon is pretty impressive. And if we actually go ahead and grab some of the other Toothless that are out currently, we have the smaller kind of $15 version that comes with Hiccup, and as you can see, the Puppetronic version is so much bigger. And then we also have the larger Plasma Blast version of Toothless here that I have previously reviewed next to the Puppetronic version, and yet again, you can very clearly see the size difference is quite massive. And even if I bring in an iPhone here, just for like a totally random comparison, this is an iPhone 12, you can see again that the size difference is again quite impressive, as this is a pretty big Puppetronic. So honestly, I don't think there's a whole lot else that we need to go over when it comes to this. Just know that this thing is super, super cool. I absolutely love this dragon. I love the fact that WOW Stuff is continuing to make these Puppetronic type figures. I've really been enjoying them throughout the course of the Jurassic franchise. Absolutely adore the fact that they have now released a Toothless version as well, and I think they did a great job on this all around. There's obviously a lot to it, and there's probably still so much that I have not even uncovered about the different sounds and ways to play with this dragon. I'm going to have to keep on trying to search those out and discover them. If I happen to come up with any more stuff, I will definitely throw some videos up in the shorts section of the channel to continue to show you guys what I discover for this figure. But it is super, super cool. Again, if you are a fan of How to Train Your Dragon, you absolutely need to grab this and add it to your collection. So make sure you do that, and of course, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.